What's up, everyone? So I know this is very random, but um, I decided to do a live stream of a mixing session. And as you can see here, I've been working on this band's album. They're called All Way Drive. They're my good friends from El Paso. The group actually, well, not the exact group, but some of the members of the group actually came over to Houston to record their EP here in the studio. So now I'm doing their mixing for them remotely. So I decided to live stream it. It's going to be kind of a nerd out type of thing. So if mixing bores you, I would leave the video now. If it's something you're interested in, stick around because I'm going to be digging into this song. This is exactly how they gave it to me. And we're going to dig into it and see what we can do with it. We're going to just go through the full process of mixing from start to finish. Well, I'm probably not going to finish tonight, but probably just get an overall balance of everything. And yeah, just see where we can go from there. So I haven't even really listened to this yet. So it's definitely going to be straight out of the gate new for my ears as well. So let's see what we're dealing with here. So I like to start organizing. I like to put my drums first, so and you can see they have everything labeled really nice. Um, my friend that engineered this actually said that he followed the masterclass production techniques for this session that the band themselves actually engineered, and after working on some of their other songs, I'm really impressed at how good they did. Like they did everything really tight. They recorded everything really nice. They gain stage everything well. So let's dig in and see what we got. So I'm putting all the drums first. I like to start with that, and then I like to go bass after. So I saw they had some drum thing down here. A count in. I'm assuming that's drums. Let's see. We have some synths. We have some. Okay, I see bass. I believe room mic is bass as well, so I'm going to take that. Like I said, if you're easily bored, this stream is not for you. But if you're into mixing and you want to see how I mix, stick around. Things might get interesting for you. Have a lot of guitars. DI, I'm assuming that's bass as well. I think we have another bass in here somewhere. Did I see that? Yeah, low mic. I believe that's bass as well. So for bass, they have like DI, high bass, low mic, and then room mic. I believe so. Let me make sure. Sounds like bass to me. What's up, Lucas? Santiago, how's it going, man? I hope y'all, if y'all are into mixing, man, I'm gonna be showing, how I start a track from start to finish. So stick around, and check it out, man. But thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the sound. Right now, it's kind of just the slow part. I'm just getting everything organized here. Let me see. So we have vocals here. I like to move all the vocals last. I kind of separate the vocals like from the rest of the from the rest of the project, or from the music, I guess. So this looks like overdub, and this looks like chorus vox. So I kind of put things like in descending order of like appearance, I guess. So like if I see a lot of something, I'll keep it on top, and then I'll just kind of, frequency of sound. So like as you can see here, this sound is like literally probably just one word, so I'm just going to move that down. So for the guitars, we have guitar 1. So we have some reverb room mics. So I'm going to move those down. So I think for here we're going to have... Okay, so those are like the main guitar mics. Let's see. Alright, that's a room guitar. And that's like a very distant room guitar. So I'll put the 2 main guitar mics on top, and then I'll repeat the same process for the other mics. Guitar 2. Usually I would rename all these, but after working on a few of their sessions, I kind of memorized what he did with his mics. So I kind of just go by the look of the waveform for reference as to what the sound is, to be totally honest. So we have a bunch of guitar overdubs here, so I'm going to move the synths after the guitars. So I see we have some ending synths. Let's see if we have any more synths. Oh, look, we have a verse vox right here. I'm going to move that down. That'll be first. Clean psychedelic guitar overdub. So I'm going to put that like down here, like past the guitar harmony. Or maybe I'll put the harmony last. Chorus synth, bridge synth. That's all going to be moved down by the synths. I know this part is kind of boring. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now better? Let me turn my mic up. Let me know if that's better. Sorry. I have to like stay on this microphone for you to hear me. Sorry about that. Let me raise this a little bit. Sweet. I'm glad. So we have all the vocals down here, all the overdubs. We have the chorus synth. Let me put the chorus synth first. And then the ending synths I'll move down. Clean psych. Okay. Guitar, bass, harmonics, bridge, count in. Let me move the count in actually before everything, because I'm sure this is just a count in as it reads. Yeah, it's literally just a hi-hat. All right, so we have everything completely set as of now. So now that everything is organized and I kind of know where everything's at, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start bussing things. So I'm going to come in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll create a bus for the overheads. I'll just name this overhead bus. I'll create a bus for the whole drum kit. I'll just call this drum bus. I'll create a bus for the bass. I'm going to name this bass bus. Oh, look, I'm going to put those. Actually, I might leave the bass harmonics out of the. No, fuck it. I'm going to leave it in there. So for the guitars, I'm going to make a guitar bus. for pretty much just everything. I'm just going to throw it all in there, and if I need to separate anything after, I'll do that. Name that guitar bus. And then I'll make a bus for all of the vocals. So I'll go in here and make Vox bus. I have my master. And now I'm going to make a bus like just for the music. So the reason that I'm going to make a separate bus for the music is because I like to have control over the music and the vocals separately. And the reason I do that, especially mixing rock music, is that I find that, rock music is very noisy. And there's a lot of things that clash with vocal frequencies. So, sometimes, especially if the vocals are sung softer over a heavy rock track, you'll find yourself struggling to find the vocals in there. So by keeping the music and the vocal on a separate bus, you can actually create separation between the two. So I'm going to make this, just call it music bus. So now I pretty much have everything ready to go, except now I just have to route the I/O for this. Let me go in here. I probably don't have enough buses, so let me just create some. I'm going to create like 5 stereo buses. And I'll create like 5 mono buses. So for the drum bus, I'll go bus 1 and 2. And then I'll route everything, all the drum stuff, to bus 1 and 2. I know this isn't the fun part of mixing, but I just wanted to show it just because it's part of the process, literally. It must be done. So for overheads, I'll do like bus 3 and 4. Put those into 3 and 4. And then I'll route bus 3 and 4 to bus 1 and 2. So now all the drums are in the drum bus. Now bass. Let me do bass like 5 and 6. I'm going to have to make more buses. There's a lot of tracks. So I really like how they recorded a lot of microphones, a lot of sources, because that leaves a lot of sounds to kind of blend and mess with. Guitar bus, we have 7 and 8, so I'm going to bus all the guitars to 7 and 8. If you've been mixing and you don't bus like your different groups of instruments, I would highly suggest doing it, because it gives you a lot of mixing is just big, like small moves over large groups of things. To me, like if you sit here and nitpick all of these little tracks, it's just not effective. Try to just manipulate the whole guitar group just at once. I find it's just more efficient. Better result, more natural sounding. I'm not going to bust the synths because the sounds can be completely different. They can have way different frequency things and all kinds of stuff going on, so I don't necessarily want to bust them together because the sound might not be cohesive. But like I know all the guitars sound similar. I know all the basses sound similar. I know the drums sound similar, so I'm going to keep those together. But the synths, I'm going to keep those kind of by themselves. And then Vox, 9 and 10. So usually on vocals, I'll have like a lot more manipulation going on for like the verse and then the chorus. Like they'll be usually mixed different, but I do bust them to one sometimes to put like a global type of processing over them in the end, at the very end of the mix. So that's why I'm, still busting them together. I'm not going to process them in bulk, but at the end I'll just use it to kind of level them out together. Oh, and then I have to make a bus for the music. I'll just name this Submaster. So I'm going to put all of the instrumentation into Submaster. Oops. I haven't done a live stream in a really long time. I'm like cold on camera again. Forgive me. Submaster. And then we're going to put the drum bus to Submaster. So now we finally have everything done. That took how long? Probably, 10 minutes maybe? I don't know. But however long it takes, you have to set up your session, organize it how you want it. Let's give it a play and see what we're working with here. Okay, so step number 2 is they did a really good job at gain staging everything, but some things are a little higher level than we want them. So we're going to go in and we're going to find things that are going beyond our point that we want. Like this vocal, for example. I want to usually keep it about right here on the meter. And as you can see, we have some peaking going above that. So I'm going to want to go in and I'm going to want to like take the highest point and just gain it down. So I'm going to start from the top to make it easier and more organized. So let's just look at everything and where our gains are. So the kick looks good. Snare looks good. Remember, our goal is for right in the center of the meter for everything. So our kick looks good. Our snare looks good. Hats look good. Let's check the toms. Toms look good. They did a really good job on this. Seriously. Noah, you did great, my man. Bass looks really good. The guitars look really good. It's just this guitar here is what stood out. This harmony guitar is recorded a little hot, so let's just back it down with a basic I'm just using a run-of-the-mill EQ one band just to use it for the volume. So I'm going to back it down to about right in the center of the fader. That's where we want it. Now the buses, I don't mind if these are coming in hot because these aren't individual tracks. This is everything piled up together. So of course these buses are going to have more level than like individual tracks will, but I'm not as concerned about that. That's not the thing. It's really the sum of these individual tracks that we care about peaking, and it's just way easier to manage level wise when each individual element is kept in between the faders. So for the vocal, it's like peaking, so I'm going to back it down until it just kind of kisses the middle of that fader. So like right there. Let me check this one. That's fine. That's not enough for me to care. And I think that's it. I think we have everything taken care of. Oh, well, let me look at this. This looks like it might be a little hot. No, that's fine. Let me look at the synths. All right. That's all fine with me. Just a couple of things, like just, 2 tracks that I just... Oh, look, let's check out this bass harmonic. Looks like we might have a big peak there. Yeah, let me just take that down a little bit. All right. So boring part is over. Let us finally dive into the actual mixing part of this. Um, so there's two ways that I like to go about mixing, okay? And those two things are kind of just listening to the whole track and then starting to move faders with everything at unity gain, which means everything's just every fader's at zero, like everything is just unity. So I like to listen, move stuff around. The second approach is top down. So I'll literally take all the faders, move them all down, and then I will start with drums and I'll essentially build the mix from the drums. So I'll start like with kick and then I'll bring in like overheads. I'll get a whole idea of the drum sound. Then I'll bring in bass. Then I'll bring in guitar. Then I see, so I'm like building it from top down, like the drums down. So in this case, I'm going to do this mix as a top down mix, which means I'm going to come here and I'm going to literally turn every fader completely down. So I selected the group, every fader is coming completely down. So once all the faders are down, I'm going to return to my buses, and I have to keep the buses up because the individual elements are just being fed into the bus. So I want the buses up. So I'm going to return those to Unity. So when I start cranking elements in, I can hear them because everything is bussed now. So we're just going to start with the static mix. And here's the thing, and this is important. For the best possible sounding mix you can get, and I don't know who's watching this, I don't even know who cares, but for the best possible sounding mix you can get, spend the most time on the static mix and mix in mono. The reason that you want to listen in mono without panning anything yet, and this is just what works for me, okay, this is how I've been mixing for a long time. And this is how a lot of pros, like audio engineers say to do this. Because stereo creates fake volumes. It creates fake perception of balance. Just the way it works psychoacoustically. So you don't want to start panning shit left and right really hard yet. What I like to do is they have stereo synth tracks and stereo synth information in here. I like to come to the master fader and I like to just open up an imager and just put it in mono like that. So take the width, move it down, and just listen in mono. Don't worry about stereo width. The static mix is the most important part. What you can just do with your volume. That is it. I don't care if it sounds muffled. I don't care if it sounds muddy. I don't care if shit's jumping out. I don't care if stuff is too dynamic and you lose it. Just, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. We're going to fix that later. What we want is a great balance of just the faders without touching EQ, any of that shit. We don't want to touch any of that right now. All we want to do is start building the mix, balancing it. So let's start. So there's two ways you can go about this. You can either start listening to the whole song. You can go to like I know some people like the loudest part of the song. I just kind of go to somewhere in between. So let's just say, I see some action here. I'll go between this. This looks like a verse and a chorus, probably on drums. So let's just start here and let this section loop. We'll start building the drums in. Let's see what happens. All we're listening for now is volume and phase. So we're going to maybe flip some phase switches, see if things pop a little better with phase. I'm going to kind of stop talking as much and just kind of try to get into a zone because you do have to get into a zone to really feel this out. So let's go. What's up, Bone? I don't know if that's your name or not. My eyesight's starting to get worse. Bring some toms in. My boy's going ham on the drums. My laptop died, so I can't see chat anymore. Sorry, let me fix this really quick. My laptop died because I don't have my charger. We got interrupted, everybody. Give me a second. So right now, all I'm doing is just listening to drums. That's it. I'm just listening to drums, the balance of everything, and kind of getting a sound for everything. You know, like if it's more cymbal heavy, then I might bring those down a little bit, or I might bring them up a little bit. ETG Music, what's up, my man? It's been a while, huh? Okay, so I have my I have chat back up now, so I can actually see what's going on. So I appreciate the patience. My laptop died because I don't have my charger. All right. So let us continue, shall we? I'm doing good, man. Just doing a little live mixing session. My boys from El Paso and Allway Drive, we're just doing a little live mixing session of their new album coming up. Hope you're good, man. Let's see these toms again. What's up, Ian? I'm glad you enjoy the clone covers, man. Keep killing it on them instruments, bro. So now I think I have like a just the kit to me is a good start. I can hear everything. I like his hi-hat work, so I kind of put the hi-hats a little louder than I think. But now let me start bringing in the bass mics. Just enough to where I start losing the kick drum, and then I might back it away a little bit. So let's just start bringing in the bass. Try a different mic. Okay, I like this mic the best. I like the high bass mic the best. It just sits well. Bring in the room. I think that's a pretty good balance of, I like the high bass mic the best. I'm actually not even really using the DI. I like the high bass mic. The low mic, I might bring in later if I want more body. But between the high bass mic and the room mic, I kind of have a nice balance of like tone, roundness, and then the room mic kind of brings in the pick sound, which I like better than the DI sound. And see, the great thing about bussing is now, like I said, now that I have a balance of the different bass signals, now I can just come to the bus if I want to turn the bass as a whole up or down. So that's kind of the beauty of creating buses. So let's move down to guitars now. I'm trying to move quick. Try a different mic. I like that part right there. Let me hear it. Okay, I definitely like mic 3 better than mic 1 for this like just balance so far. Okay, so that means that on mic 3 on the second take, on the double track, I'm going to create a balance of these two microphones because one's going to be panned hard left and one's going to be panned hard right. So I want to put these together and see how they sound. So already now I'm starting to want a little bit less snare drum. So let's go and see what's going on here. It might be the overheads that we're getting the snare from. Let's see. It is the overhead. So let's bring the overheads down. I feel like they're a little hot. Let's play it from the drop and see what's up. All right, Tom's a little hot. Let's see. We haven't touched EQ. We haven't touched pan. We haven't touched shit. We're just listening. We're just moving faders. That's all we're doing. Bring those toms down a little bit. Yeah, of course, man. This is my good friend's band from El Paso. They're called All Way Drive, and they engineered their own record, and they sent me the stems, and I'm gonna do a bit of mixing on it. But they're called All Way Drive. Check them out on Instagram, man. They're cool as fuck. Let's flip the phase on the snare and just kind of play with phase to see if we get a fatter snare or a thinner snare. Let's see. Now it thinned out, so we don't have to flip phase on that. Okay, so let's start working some more guitar mics in to fill out the sound even further, because there's a lot of options here, and let's just see what we got going on. Ooh, I like that room mic. Hear it? Ooh, that room mic has some really cool overtones. It almost like adds more strings to the chord. Listen to that. You hear how cool that is? See, that's the cool thing about using a room mic or whatever. You get these overtones that fill out the sound really cool. So I want to work a little bit of that in there. I really like that guitar sound. So I'm going to go ahead and pan these now, but here's the thing. I'm still listening in mono because remember I used that plugin. So everything that I'm doing here, panning, I won't be able to hear stereo. I'm still hearing in mono, as you will as well. So one thing I like to do with these guitars to make them really wide, so there's two methods of doing this. So two steps, I will say. So since he recorded a lot of room mics and different ambient sounds of the guitar, sometimes it's cool to put, like, let's just say you have this guitar take in the left speaker, and you have second guitar take in the right speaker, and then you have a room mic for each of those takes. If you have the first take panned left and you have the second take panned right, it's cool to take the room mics from each of those takes and put them on the opposite sides. So, like, it creates even more stereo difference. You see what I mean? Instead of putting, like, left's room mic on the left and right's room mic on the right, you would flip-flop them. And it creates even more fatness in the stereo field. So that is a secret. I mean, not a secret, but it's just something I've done, and I found it gives guitars a really wide sound. So consider recording room mics for your guitar. Sometimes you don't think about it, but it goes a long way. It really does. So there's a harmony here. Let's hear what this is. So let's just work that in. I want to hear it come in. I don't want it to freak out the listener. I just want it to kind of be in there. ETG, that is a good question. Not all the time. So I might pan the close mic or the like the cabinet mic hard, like 100 and 100 on left and right, and then maybe I'll put the room kind of somewhere in between, or I'll do the opposite depending on like the context of the mix. Once we open up the stereo image and start actually listening in stereo, I'll know kind of where stuff needs to be placed in the stereo field. But the good thing about it is we'll already have everything balanced because we're listening in mono. So volumes will be where they need to be. Then we can just play with panning, and the stereo image won't collapse the mix or anything like that. So let me finish here. That is a good question. And then we'll see kind of where we want to put those, like once we hear it in stereo. But yes, sometimes it's different. You got to just listen. Yeah, you use different amounts. That's cool. It fills it out even more, you know. So I'm happy with the way this is sounding right now. Is balanced. So let me go in here and listen to some other tracks really quick. Ooh, nice. Oh wait, look, I forgot to do the gain stage that. Let me take that down a little bit. If you're wondering why the importance of keeping the fader in the middle on these digital audio workstations, it's because the plugins are designed to take that amount of level. That's kind of where they're happy, and you get the most out of your plugins when they're not getting fed too much information. So it just helps everything stay more organized, cleaner, and it also, your plugins like it more. I just, don't ask me why. That's just the way it is. I really don't know. I don't make the rules, man. I really like that clean ambient guitar. I like that. Let's see what these tracks are down here. Oh, that's like some cool, it's the same performance, like the same take, it's just like phaser. Let's see. Oh, I like that room. That's nice. That's a cool. I'm digging this little section. What's up, Zach? How are you, man? Good to see you, brother. Just doing a little mixing live stream. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Okay, got that in there. Let's see what's up with these synths. See what's up with this one. Oh, word. That's like some techno shit. I wasn't expecting that. Nice. Getting a little electrified here. Alright, and let's see what these ending synths are. I hear some really cool shit going on. Okay, so I'm hearing some. So the bass is staying on the one, and then the synth is kind of changing bass notes, and it's clashing. So I need to make the decision as to what to do with this right here. Okay, so since there's two things, since there's a lot of dirty guitars going on, I'm not feeling as much as to keep the little arpeggio. I'm not feeling as much to keep the dirty ones as much as the clean one. So let me just let's just say I'm going to mute the dirty ones and just listen to the clean one by itself and see if that is a little clearer. Yeah. But I still want to keep this one because it's cool. Gotta watch that synth. Just want a little bit of it. Okay, moving right along. So let's see what's going on with the vocals. That's all we have left. Nice, like that.
display. Rip down mine so I can be fine. And every time they wonder why.
Oh, look, we have our count in. Forgot about that. Look. That's all it is.
Haters in full display. Rip down mine so I can be fine. And every time they wonder why.
I like that little stop. So let's get a little bit more gain on the vocals. Let's see. Snare is still a little too loud for me. Let me see. But it's from the overhead. A combination of the hats and the overheads. Bring the guitars down a smidge. Let's hear that from the beginning again. Haters in full display. Rip down mine so I can be fine. And every time they wonder why. Now we're just kind of listening to see the mix is starting to kind of shape itself. We're just seeing where it sits. Oh, I'm getting a little bit too much boominess from the floor tom. Take a little bit of that out. Oh, look, I forgot about these bass harmonics. Let's bring those up. Ah, nice. The doorbell. Somebody's at the door. nice. It adds to the ambience of that part. Here we might turn the guitars up because we have like a little, sounds like a little solo thing going on. So here's a trick for anybody still watching. Our static mix, it's been how long? How long have we been on here? I don't even know, but up until this point, we haven't touched anything but volume. If you're in a room that's untreated, like I am, I mean, yeah, I have acoustic panels on the walls, but that doesn't mean shit really for like hearing low end. I use a pair of headphones to listen to the low end only. I don't use it really to mix anything else, but I do listen to it to hear my low end. And I use these $15 Skull Candies. And I've been doing this same process with Skull Candies for a very long time. This is all I use. So to listen to my low end that my speakers might not be telling me, I use Skull Candies. So like I might listen to the bass in these and be like, oh, the bass is a little too heavy in the low, so I might pull it down a little bit. And then I'll take these off and continue mixing with the monitor. So right now I'm going to monitor my low end by listening with these Skull Candies. So I'm just listening to a few parts and see what's going on in the lows only. That's what I'm focusing on. So there's a few parts that I want to listen to. I want to like listen to this. Already, it's crazy because I'm just like, there's too much bass. There's just like too much bass. Like, I want to pull the bass down maybe a dB just from putting these on. You see? So by using headphones to listen to your lows only, your room will lie to you, but, you know, if you find a pair of headphones, I've listened to just thousands of songs on Skull Candies in my life. So I know exactly what low end, good low end, is supposed to sound like in these earbuds. So find something that you know sounds good, like headphones, and learn their sound. And use those to reference. Like how bass is supposed to sound in these is like ingrained in my memory. And if I hear something in my mix that's too loud or, you know, off kilter, I know that these headphones are going to guide me to where I need to be. So already I can tell that I want to turn the bass down, maybe just like a dB and a half. It's just a little too heavy. So let's do that now. Or I'll listen a little more and we'll make the decision after. That's such a nice sound. Okay, so this bridge synth, remember, I'm listening to low end here. This bridge synth is just unnecessary lows because we have the same performance being played with the bass guitar right here. Okay. You hear that boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-boo, boo. He's doing all that work. But then we have this synth down here that's just kind of getting in the way of that. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to step on the bass player's performance that he's doing. So I'm going to want to pull this bridge synth down even more because I don't want it to step on that boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo thing he's doing because I like that. I feel like it shouldn't be stepped on. So there's a lot of things. So what I like to do when I mix, I like to find the special part of the song, right? What I think is like what I look forward to hearing in the song. And this part for me, that's it. I want this part to really shine. And I don't want anything to step on like the musical arrangement of it. And sometimes when you have sounds and things going on, the sounds and the arrangement is good. However, the frequencies of those sounds will step on other parts of it and they will skew like the image of it. And right now we're having a lot of things piling on this part. And I'm very aware of that, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to go in, and it's mainly in the low end. I'm going to listen individually, and I'm going to be muting individual elements that I think are stepping on this part. And once I find what it is, I'm going to address it accordingly. I'm going to make a decision as to what I think should be done to clear this part up. Because what I really want to hear is this. I want to hear this. This is what I want to focus on. The vocals, I love the falsetto, and I love the relationship of this with this. Listen. Watch.
How can they have misunderstood?
You hear how groovy that is? Like, just with no drums, nothing. Just listen. I mean, the bass is making a badass pocket. The guitar is just washing the whole thing. And the vocals are this nice, pretty, dreamy falsetto. Like, listen how fucking cool this part is.
After all, the vision is blurred. How can they have misunderstood?
I could just listen to that by itself. I think that sounds cool as fuck. So I want to go into the song and find things that are kind of blurring that part. And I'm going to, like I said, address it. So let's break it down and see what problems I'm having with this section. Remember, no EQ, no nothing. We're just listening to volume. We're balancing the track with our volume first. I found it. It was that fast. Did you catch it? Right now, this floor tom is stepping on the low end of this part. Watch. When I mute the drums, it goes away. So the thing that's cool about it is the drum, I love the drum performance. It's not that. It's just the frequency between that floor tom and that bass guitar, and it just steps on the whole part. So let's see what to do here. There's a few things we can do. I don't want to lose the performance on the floor tom. So what I might do is I might come in here and I might filter it in this part. I literally might roll the low end off of it. Because remember, with all the low end already going on between the heavy guitars, between the bass guitar performance, which is the most important part in the low end here, we don't need all this low end from the tom. The low end is going to be there, right? We're going to have the perception of low end from all the other shit going on. We don't need a lot of that boominess in the floor tom. So this is the first introduction of EQ in this entire project, and all it is a simple filter. I'm not going to sweep. I'm not going to scoop. I'm just going to cut. So I'm going to come in here and loop this part. And I'm going to roll the low end off of this floor tom until I start feeling the bass guitar open up without having to ride the fader or pull the volume up, which I might do in the end to get more of it. But I'm trying to find the simplest solution to this problem while I'm here. So let's just try a filter. Roll it off and see what happens. Literally problem solved. So even in this static mix with no EQ, no compression, no nothing, I'm still I'm just now starting to make out that boo doo boo doo boo on the bass guitar, and that's what I want. I still have the attack on the floor tom. I didn't lose any of that. I just took out the low end. That's what was bothering me in that part. And like this is what mixing is just finding very simple solutions to big problems. And this is nothing. I mean, this is just a 200 hertz cut at a 6 dB octave slope on the floor tom. And I'm going to automate it to turn on just on this part. So I don't lose the sub, the low end information on the tom and other parts just on this part. Because this is where it's bothering me. Because that bass performance is important. And I know if I send this mix off to the band and they can't hear the bass player can't hear his performance, he's probably not going to be happy. Drummer's going to still be able to hear his floor tom work, right? You get it? So that's the type of decisions we have to make. So I'm going to automate this to turn on. I'm going to automate this to cut the lows only on this section. Usually I would do this at the end of the mix, but for the purpose of the video, I'll do it now. So that'll only turn on this section. And I think this section happens again, correct? Yeah, but there's no floor tom information. So there we go. A huge mix problem of my favorite part of the song solved with one stock EQ plug-in filter. That easy. Literally. We didn't do shit. I don't mind that. Okay, this synth is still bothering me with just too much low end because it's still stepping on the bass. There's a lot of sub information in there. So I'm going to filter this as well. It's just like we're mixing on a console, right? Console has filters, so that's all we're doing. We're just going to filter it. So we still have the nature of it. We still have the notes, but we're cutting all that low shit. We might even incorporate another bass mic here to bring that part out even more. Let's see. No, that's not the answer. So, I think that that's a good starting point. Let me see something. Okay, so these can come off now. So I'm much happier with my low end. I got the bass where it needs to be. And then I also fixed a big problem that just needed immediate fixing right here in this special part of the song that we're going to work up to. So now let's finally make it fun and switch into stereo and then start tweaking it even more. So far, literally, we've all been listening in mono. That's it. We have not heard one stereo information from this song yet, and that's good. That's what we wanted. So let's go ahead and listen in stereo.
Rip down my so I can be fine. And every time they wonder
I like this. This is good. Bring up the vocals a little bit. Our hi-hats are on the right, so I'm going to pan the hi-hat mic that way. Let's see. And then the array of toms as I see it will go from right to left in terms of high tom, middle tom, low tom. So it's going to be right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and pan tom 1 over there, pan tom 2 about a little there, and then pan the floor tom on this side. So we get that array of toms. I've always loved that in a rock song. Now I might want to split the difference between the bass where I had it a little bit. I might want to bring up the overall. So instead of cutting a dB.5, maybe I'll just cut a dB. I'll bring a little bit of bass back in. So I'm trying to get the balance between what I hear in my room and what I heard in my headphones. So now that I have the static mix where I'm pretty happy with it, like, I mean, and by the way, this changes, like, when you come back tomorrow and start work again, like your day 2 of a mix, you'll be like, oh shit, that's too loud, this is too loud, and that's fine. I mean, you sit here for hours and do something, your brain's not going to be all there all the time. So right now, I would say that I'm happy with the static mix just as it is. And next, I want to start dynamics processing. Basically, I want to start getting things under control, volumes under control. Now, you can EQ first. I like to dynamic process the vocal because that's the most dynamic thing in the song. Besides the drums, right? Like the drums are transient sounds, that's fine. But I like to start working with my vocals first because those are the things that are really popping in and out of the mix that are giving false perception of balance. For example, when the chorus hits, like watch. And it gets quiet again. So that's giving your ear false perceptions of like what's too loud and what's not loud enough. So I'm going to go back into mono mode, and I'm going to start just looking at these vocals right here. I'm just going to start looking at them. That's all I'm going to do is just look at them. So the first thing you notice is it's very dynamic, right? And basically I just want to compress the hell out of these vocals, but I'm not going to do that at once. It's going to be a step-by-step compression of them. So what I'm going to do is, to hear really harsh S's, I like to use these headphones. These are apparently a flat response headphone. I don't know how accurate the calibration on these things are. But again, I've had these headphones for a very long time, and I've learned that if anything is too harsh in a mix, like if something's going to hurt your ears and cause ear fatigue, these will reveal it to you. And I can already tell you right now that these vocals have some really harsh S's and sibilants that need to be addressed. So the reason that I'm going to address the sibilants first, basically de-essing for those of you that mix, is if I would slap a compressor on here right now, just an ordinary run-of-the-mill, just any compressor, just anything, every time he hits an S sound, that is going to prematurely cause compression in the signal that I don't want, because I don't want the S's to be compressed in the compression stage. I want to control them first, then introduce compression on the entire vocal, so my compressor has a smoother operation versus hitting those S's. And you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I meant? I'm going to compress the hell out of them, but in a step-by-step process. I'm going to stage my compression. I'm not just going to hit it once. Now look, this is not always the case. I just hear some harsh S's in this vocal, and that's why I'm going to attack it like this. That's not always the case. Sometimes you might have a singer that doesn't have strong S's at all, but in this case, listen. I mean, do you hear those S's that are coming out right there? That is going to hit the compressor so hard, and I don't want that. So what I like to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is address the S's in these chorus vocals, because that's where they're the most apparent, at least that I see. I like to open up an analyzer. And I know you're supposed to like use your ear, and I kind of do a combination of the two. But I'm going to find the frequency of these S's on this analyzer. So let's play it and see. See that right there? Around 10,000. That's where like the S is really hitting. Like around 10.2, 10.3. So by using this, I know around 10.3 is where I need to begin introducing de-essing. So let's go and type in 10,000, what I said in between 2 and 3. So let's do 2,500. I'm at 250, so 10,250, which is right in the center of where our analyzer was telling us the S's were hitting really hard. So I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to watch what the de-esser does over this vocal. See, right in the beginning right there is when we're starting to hit it. Look at how, okay, just to show you that de-essing is very important, look at how much this thing is attenuating when he hits that S sound. Look at this. It's hitting like negative like 7 or almost negative 8 decibels. That is how much compression that S is causing this plugin to hit. So imagine had we not de-essed this and slapped a compressor on there. Like, we would have been fucked because it would have been, we've never would have been able to get the compressor where we wanted it because this S was just going to be hitting it way too hard. So with this, I'm not even losing any real top end. I'm just getting rid of that unnecessary transient on that sibilant. I don't need it. And we can introduce a shelving EQ to brighten this vocal up later. So we literally don't need that S. That's not brighter. It's just getting in the way, right, of our dynamics. That we don't need it. So by shaving negative 7 dB of this sibilant off of this vocal performance, we're literally going to make our compression sound much better later and more natural versus trying to get rid of this S by just slapping a compressor and thinking that that's going to do it. It won't. I mean, it will, but you're not going to get what you want out of it. Already you can hear that the vocal is sitting better in the mix, literally just from getting rid of that high S sound. So let's listen to this, but I don't think we have any harsh S's on here. I mean, maybe a little bit. Maybe we can tame this a little bit. And see, that's why I said I treat this verse vox differently than I'm going to treat the chorus, because first of all, the frequency sounds different of the S. I can just already tell. And it's much lighter. So let's see what the frequency of this is. Rip down my soul, I can rip down my soul, I can rip down my soul. See, I could literally hear the frequency was lower than the last one. So right here we're at like 9,500 hertz. That's where like that S sound is. So we're gonna go in. I'm just gonna use the same de-esser and just change the frequency. So 9,500. And let's just shave a little bit of that S off. Rip down my soul, I can rip down my soul, I can rip down my soul, I can. Let's see. Through the side of their eyes, hate is in full display. Rip down my soul, I can be. Now let's go to this section. So there's a lot of sibilants right here. See, I want to kind of split the difference between these two. I don't want to take too much off. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I got the de-essing set exactly where I want it. Like, just, it's like I said, it's already making the vocal sit better, and we haven't even really done anything yet. Drastic, anyway. So, since this vocal is the same as this thing, eventually I'll merge these two tracks together, but just for the demonstration purposes of the mix, I'll just copy and paste both choruses on each other, but I'll eventually just bust them to the same track. So let's get overall compression leveling, starting with the verse vox. So now that we have it de-essed, now I'm going to introduce our first level of compression. And the RVox plugin that I use here is kind of a hybrid compressor slash like almost volume automator. It literally will like bring lower volumes up and higher volumes down and kind of meet them in the middle. So it does essentially what compression does, but without any artifacts, without any like pumping or noticeable difference. So to help our compressor even more, I'm going to put a little bit of this RVox on each vocal track to just balance it out a little more before we hit it with that final compressor. So let's check this out.
Rip down my so I can be fine. And every time they wonder why.
See how once I gain match the two, it kind of just brings the vocals closer. You know, it doesn't really do anything drastic. It just brings the vocals like closer. Makes the louder sounds more distant and the quieter sounds closer. So I don't know, it's really great how this plugin works. So let's hear this part of the verse, the heavier, louder part. Might be a little bit too much de-essing on that part. Let me back it off. Okay, that was just a quick little leveling of the verse, of the two verse vocals. So now let me bring it in on the chorus. These are a little bit more dynamic, so I might hit a little harder. Let's see. All right, that's set pretty good, and I just set them the same. So now I'm just going to put a global compressor over all the vocals. Like I'm actually just going to try this. Like usually I would do individually, but let's just try to put one over the entire, oops, wrong plugin. Let's just put one over the entire vocal track as a whole and just see what it does to just balance everything out. I want to hear this part. Do you see how now the vocals are just kind of sitting there versus jumping out and causing like things to sound out of whack? Now the vocals are literally just kind of like sitting in the song, you know, just from this little amount of processing that we've done. And there's going to be a lot more down the line, fine tuning. But this is just like the gist of mixing, man. Like I haven't really, like, look, nothing is EQ'd except for some filters. that's literally it. And then the vocals, just we have compression, but we already have like I mean, look, for example, like if I come here and just put on this fancy thing on the mix bus, pump it up to make it brighter, I could literally send this mix off to like the band just to listen to it. Like, listen. Like, watch. Like, that is literally sendable, and I did not do shit. Like, watch, if I turn this off, I just did this to kind of brighten it up, but like, look. I could send that to the band, just be like, hey, are you happy with how this is sitting? And we didn't EQ guitars yet. We didn't even compress bass yet. We didn't do anything to drums. I mean, just look. Like, I hope this video wasn't too, I hope this live stream wasn't too boring, but like, this is how you mix without like getting that fake overly processed sound, which I'm just going to be honest, I fucking hate the way that sounds. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm one of the people that I'm not a fan of it. But if you want like just a mix that sounds like it was done on a console, you know, from yesteryear with minimal gear and just a nice board with good microphones and a good band, this is how you do it. I mean, there's literally not much done here. And props to the guys in All Way Drive for engineering this, because working with them has been a complete charm, because they gain stage everything well. They named all their tracks really good. Like, if you want to mix for a living, this is really all you got to do. I mean, it's easier than you might think. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go in and compress the bass. Yeah, I'm going to go in and EQ a little bit of the guitars. Yeah, I'm going to go in and blah, 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 but nothing that's like rocket science. I mean, this is the gist of it all. And that's kind of what I teach in my mixing masterclass, is how like easy the process can be. It doesn't have to be rocket science. If you engineer it well, if you have a cool song, you know, that's all you need to do is just spend a lot of time on balancing the volumes, because that is where the size and the perception of your mix comes from. It's not how you EQ your guitars or any of that shit. That's just really just shaping stuff. If it was recorded well and you had good sounds, good drum kit, good drummer, you know, cool song, all of this is what you have to do. Just a few filtering, listening, spending a lot of time on the faders, you know, attacking problems as they need to be attacked. Like the first thing I heard, you know, was the de-essing on the vocals. That had to be done. Now the vocals are sitting where they need to sit. And EQ and all that stuff just kind of makes what already is great even greater. You're not going to have a bad sounding mix that is saved by EQ. It's not effective. It's not effective in creating like a professional, natural sounding mix. Like if you have to just put an EQ on every channel and go fucking crazy with it, I don't know, man. Like I just don't see how that works. But hey, different strokes for different folks, right? But this is how I do it. It's just very simple. And a lot of it just has to do with listening. That's really all it is, man. I want to hear my favorite part again. Man, like on this part, we can add like maybe some reverse verb on the vocal. Once you get the balance, then you can start having fun with like effects and, you know, cool fun shit. Like I don't know, I really like this part. I'm just hearing a lot of like maybe flangers and wide stereo effects. Really just cool stuff right here. like maybe like some choruses or doubling. Like I don't know, man. It can just really get out of hand quick, and then I mean in a good way. So I mean, this is pretty much it, man. I'm gonna stop for the night, give my ears a break. But I mean, this is how we break down a mix. We organize it. We make sure all of our gain staging is good. And then we just listen for a long time. We started with the drums. We, worked our way through the drum kit. Then we added in the bass. We listened to the different mics. We brought in the guitars. We listened to the arrangement. Like what's the song kind of saying, and then we just kind of go off of that. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, that's how it's done. So again, if you're watching now, this band is All Way Drive. They're my friends from El Paso. Check them out on Instagram. They're doing it, man. They're cool as fuck. We played with them a few years back, and they came over and we recorded an EP here with some of the guys, and like it was really fun, man. And they're really cool guys, so check them out. I'm enjoying mixing their record right now. And as y'all know, I don't even know who's left, but Dymphonic, I'm making another album, like currently in the works alongside this. So yeah, man, like I'm just staying busy, and I'm about to start streaming and posting more. I've just been really busy, and I'll say what I've been doing in a future video, but I've just been doing a lot of stuff, and I will update everybody on that at a later time. But I hope that this video was of value to somebody, that was watching, that wants to mix at home. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Just spend a lot of time listening and balancing your faders. Like, that's really the most important thing. And all that EQ and all that stuff, that's just all to just make little tiny corrections. Nothing too drastic, at least 98% of the time. So thank you everybody who stayed, checked out the live stream. I appreciate you guys, and be on the lookout for more content. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to this, 'cause now I have this set up and I'm able to live stream my mixes. So yeah, man, thank you to everybody that stayed, checked it out, and see you guys later. Peace out.